Hi, radio lovers, and happy 2025. Radio Meets TV is all about recapping some of the most amazing and awesome radio moments that we've seen every single week, but this time it's a bit different. This pop-up special show is a panel discussion of the 2024 radio season, and we're talking about radio presenters, radio personalities, and shows, and every radio move that we've seen in 2024.
I think kuba difficult for our listeners ukusheshe bajwayele, more especially if uguquko zovele lwenzeke so sudden.
So I agree with Ntobeko that he is offering to us the same thing that we know.
The rumors of Fresh coming back to radio next season, do you guys believe it?
It's not a rumor. Fresh confirmed it.
Okay.
It's no longer a rumor. So the question is, where is he going?
I heard that it might be Radio 2000. You do not want to miss out on this conversation because I know you also want to weigh in on it, okay? So do subscribe to the channel Finally Famous TV on YouTube, across all social media platforms, Finally Famous SA, and the hashtag RMT Podcast. I'll see you on Tuesday. Welcome to Radio Meets TV. My name is Clarissa Mfeka. Thank you so much for being here with us today. This is a very special pop-up episode. It's not the regular recaps that we do weekly on, this family channel that we love so much. Please don't forget to subscribe, Finally Famous TV. This is the channel that you will get all the freshest radio recaps, and also across all social media platforms. Follow us and tag us, Finally Famous SA. If you're new here, Radio Meets TV is all about recapping awesome, amazing radio moments that we've seen throughout the week, and we package them and chit-chat around them, and some of, your favorite shows, some of your favorite radio personalities. We talk about it all the time on this podcast. We also interview some really cool radio personalities as well. So this is just what we do here, okay? So this is also a very special episode because we're not just recapping moments that we've seen on air and the content shared through radio and radio personalities, but we wanted to also talk about the radio industry and radio presenters and shows that we've seen in the year of 2024. Now, traditionally, yes, we know that radio seasons usually start and end between March and April of every year, but by the time the year ends, you already would have known and would have grown very familiar with a particular show and particular radio broadcaster as well. So we wanted to talk about that and all the radio moves that we've seen in 2024. I couldn't do this particular thing alone, so I called in some very cool people who love radio just as much as we do, and also podcast as much as we do. We sat down with Ntokhozo and Ntobeko from Radio Podcast and Stuff, and also Smangaliso Ntshangase, who's a journalist that has a keen interest in radio from Isolezwe. So the conversation went very, 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 very crazy, but I want to recap with you that right now. So brace yourself, man. We spoke about everything, who's in, who's out, who's cool, who's not, what I'm saying? So check out this conversation, man. First and foremost, I had to know and I had to ask about, regular or just frequent radio changes that happen in radio stations between radio presenters and management, and whatever career moves that spark those moves that happen within radio stations, but they happen outside of radio season. They wouldn't happen like between April or March, but maybe in June or September, like you hear that your favorite radio personality is leaving or moving to another time slot or moving to another radio station or just venturing out and doing other things. Here's the conversation. Talking about just changes in general in radio stations, we've also seen Spectacular and DJ Nays return to Gagasi FM for the drive. Now, Nays departed from Metro FM, I think it was early January, even before the radio season ended. And knowing them personally, I know how they work as a duo and they do everything together. So it just became a very... Would you have suspected if they would return to Ikaka's?
Actually, I did suspect them.
Why? What made that suspect?
I did suspect, and when I could see ukuthi idrive yakaka singazi ukuthi ayizobuya. And when I heard ukuthi the one partner has departed, and I thought they could go back, one of my reasons was they left Ikaka CFM. They were doing a drive, okay? They were at their prime, okay? They were at their prime.
Sure.
And then they were taken by Metro FM to go and do a drive there, And they did it drive. I can't remember what's going to be seasons among 1 or 2. And then after that, kwabuyiswa uTibo Touch, and they were no longer on the drive. So I knew that, I thought, ukuthi, if Ikakasi can give them an offer to go back to the drive, they would take it. So that's simply why I thought ukuthi bazobuyela khona.
We spoke a lot about listeners growing familiar with Ama Presenters Akon. And I want to ask this question from you, from your perspective. I know that, especially in Joburg, there were a lot of changes that happened within the radio scene, and we saw a couple of people. It just, whatever happened, made a very visible ripple effect. So you had the breakfast host of IFA FM, Udan Koda at the time. He left, and I think he did ENCA. At that time, when that happened, is it Vic Nigel from East Coast Radio? He was doing 12 to 3, and then he also announced his departure from East Coast. Then it was like, oh, okay, could he be moving to 5FM? Because I think we've seen quite a lot of, East Coast radio people going to 5FM. And then we didn't know where Dan was going. And it was very just like weird. We were just like hush, hush. And then because of that move, Zanilo's move from 12 to 3, moved to the drive. And then we saw Nick from the drive, Nick Hammond doing the breakfast show, the other Nick from the chart show moving to the drive show. And then from YFM, the 12 to 3, Lula moved there and went to do the 12 to 3. And then YFM, because of that change, YFM ended up also doing like a presenter search. So it just becomes, so what happens to Ukjwaeleka for Umlaleli when things like that happen? When things like that happen in radio, especially when they happen outside of radio season, because I think this happened like in June, mid, it's not even mid-season, but ilana episode fresh ngaleso sikhathi. Ngokujwayela kwakho ubone uthi abalaleli mhlambe, how do they react to sudden changes like that?
I think kuba difficult for our listeners ukusheshe bajwayele, more especially if uguquko zovele lwenzeke so sudden. Yabo akufani nokuthi makuphela isizini siyazi vele ukuthi we expect some changes here and there. So ngicabanga kuyabalimaza kakhulu, but kokunye inento yokuthi kusuke kuyizimo beyisuke bengeke uzenze lutho. So if umsakazi ethola another opportunity somewhere, or maybe they want to pursue something else, so kusuke sekuyi situation unfortunate that i-management usuke sekufanele i-act kuyona. So it's all about ukuthi ke lo muntu abasuke bezomfaka is a replacement, kube ukuthi i-replacement ezokwazi ukuthi yenze umsebenzi ngendlela ozogculisa abalaleli.
To be quite honest with you, there are only a handful of radio personalities that you will see engaging on social media. Sizwe Dlomo is one of those people. He joined Kaya officially in 2024 as he was standing in for Dineo Ranaka, who had left Kaya the previous year in 2023, along with the Soul. Soul Pindigo is still part of the show, but Sizwe Dlomo's radio moves have been, quite loud, and we've heard a lot that's happening with him. This is how the conversation went with my panel. Is everybody happy with Sizwe Dlomo on... What?
Everybody happy.
Everybody happy? Well, this is on the breakfast at Kaya.
I'm happy. I'm happy with this.
Okay. It's not even a weird question. I'm being weird. The thing with the Us is he's a very well-read person.
He knows everything.
He appears to know everything. He did not know what no DNA just RSA meant, so he doesn't know everything. But he does generally, I think he just prides himself in just being well-educated and well-versed in a lot of, stuff. So whenever somebody like that enters the radio scene, especially in a very prominent radio station and in a generally good time slot, it's just very promising. I can't even imagine why his show would be weird.
Yeah, and I think with the partnership, Sol, also he's smart, so they get each other. For me, it works.
Sure. Now, the big dog, DJ Fresh, has been part of the radio broadcasting industry for a very long time in South Africa, and we have not heard him on any particular radio station in a bit of time, a couple of years to be quite honest with you. And there's been a lot of talk of his moves and him joining radio in the year of 2025. Oh man, I wonder. The rumors of Fresh coming back to radio next season, do you guys believe it?
It's not a rumor. Fresh confirmed it.
Okay.
It's no longer a rumor. So the question is, where is he going?
Yeah, and I read somewhere that it might be a Tswana radio station, a Tswana medium radio station.
I heard that it might be Radio 2000.
Okay, you see, so it really confirmed which radio station it will be.
Yeah, I thought I might be true. If it's Radio 2000, the question then is where? Because Breakfast Show, we recently had DJ Spoo taking over Breakfast Show. If you look in the afternoon, no, Radio 2000, Glenn is on Kaya now. If you look at in the afternoon, Root Boy Paul is doing a great job. That show is hot. So where would he go?
Now, another interesting radio move of 2024 was seeing DJ Smooth racing the airwaves once again. Was he everything that we expected him to be as a broadcaster? Because he's not new to this game.
DJ Smooth, for me, I know you didn't ask this question, but anyway, he's been a bit of a disappointment because with him coming back, I mean, I was excited too when DJ Smooth was coming back on radio. But I mean, I made time for him. I really, really made time for him. But I just felt like maybe it's the nostalgia. We expected the old DJ Smooth. I just felt like the way that he came back and what he's doing the same things that he used to do on radio, but they're not working in 2024. So for me, so then the question is that the show that Fresh will do? Because I don't think DJ Smooth is doing it for me in that breakfast show. I'm sorry.
Damn. All right, cool. Moving right along. Everybody was stunned. I promise you.
But I'm not, eh?
You're not.
No. I'm also not. I am in agreement.
This is DJ Smooth, guys.
No, it's DJ Smooth.
He's hosted
huge brand.
He's done one of the things. I think this is very old when he hosted Breakfast Jokos as well. Wasn't he? Yeah. Was it out crossing over to something else as well at the time? It wasn't solely Ukos.
No. Also show
It was Rise
FM and Vuma.
Did he do breakfast there?
No,
What did he do?
he did do Rise FM, Nevuma FM at the same time.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
At the same time, yeah.
Sure.
At the same time. It was the breakfast show, yes. It was the breakfast show. Yes, Rise FM. And just like how Robert Morawa is doing it right now on
and it's just syndicated throughout,
in different radio stations. So now we rise Nevuma, why Wenza go too. But going back just to my point, I agree with Ntobeko. I have given him a chance and I have listened. I do agree with the fact that sometimes as people who love radio, we wanna makuthiwa umuntu uyabuya radioweni sine expectation yokuthi we are going to hear something new. But the truth is DJ Smooth, because he's a businessman, he does what I call inspirational radio.
Sure, yes.
So when you listen to him, guna that short motivation, guna business pitch, we understand. And when you go back to him when he was doing the 3 to 6 on Metro on a Saturday, it's almost a similar show, where he was hosting different business people in studio, interviewing them, a small motivation there and there. So it's all about ukuthi phusha ungakhathali more. You go to his breakfast show that he did on Vuma FM. That was DJ Smooth for you. You understand? That is his type of radio. So I agree with Ntobeko that he is offering to us the same thing that we know. But yeah, I think this is just authentic him.
Besides falling in love with radio personalities, one thing that captivates a listener, you and I, is of course the content that is shared by radio personalities that we get to engage in, if not just for the sake of information and, being alert on what's happening around the world. When we talk about content, especially in radio, people tend to be quite critical of what they hear. And this year has been no different with the scourge, as people have said. People even called it a pandemic, man, of just an influx of relationship content on radio. Ntobeko, I'm going to ask this question to you. We're wrapping up the chat about just industry moves at the moment, and I want us to talk about radio content in general. Now, this is purely based off what I think I've seen from people, how people reciprocate, and also how people just channel what radio has become. And some people call it a pandemic. The amount of relationship content that is on radio today. Do you think it's too much, Ntobeko?
Too much content on radio.
Too much relationship content.
Oh, relationship content. Umjolo. Yeah, I think it's too much. I think it's an easy escape. Uma ngabe kuwukuthi awazi ukuthi wenzeni and ufuna abantu into abazoba interested kuyona. So khuluma ngomjolo, khuluma ngokuchithelwa, khuluma ngokuthi ugile kanjani umqolo wakugila umjolo, all of those things. So I do think people it's just an easy escape. It's too much. And to show ukuthi people don't plan properly for, even those topics. In most cases, people just come and ask a question that's out of the blue.
Sure.
Why are we talking about this today? Where's the background? What happened for you to ask me if I've ever been cheated on?
So then what happens to shows that have now relationship-based features built into their show clocks?
That's the problem. There's nothing wrong with those shows. But if we were to leave Umjolo to those shows, but now you listen to Breakfast Show, Umjolo, 9 to 12, Umjolo, 12 to 3, Umjolo, all the way to Eat Drive.
Sure.
That's where the problem is. There is a space for it because that's what people want. People want to kuluma ngomjolo, so we need to give them that. But we need to make sure that, I think it's fair to say, let's limit it. Not because now we know that if we are talking about cheating and relationships, when you open the lines, people are going to call. Therefore, everyone in the station will do that. I think that's a problem. It's lack of creativity. It's because some people that are on radio, they don't have the passion and the love for the industry. They are doing it because I've got a name. And I heard somebody else talking about relationships, therefore I'll talk about relationships as well.
Ntokozo, is relationship content sellable content? Mrs. Kulma, about actually, when you have a radio feature, ideally you want it to resonate with people, and then ufunuguti itaisego or customers or clients to feed into it. Is relationship content sellable?
Okay. The best people to answer that are people who are in the sales department in these radio stations. But I think for depending if it is placed well, I think it does sell. Remember, media broadcasting is about numbers. So if it proves that it is attracting numbers to the radio station, it can sell. I just want to make some examples. I was asking myself when Ikakase introduced Udokotela Umthembu Ntokozo now to Indaba. I think Indaba with Ale.
Yes, she was on Indaba, yeah.
Yeah, and I was asking myself, Aibo, bayithola ngile lento yabo mangilalela ngabo 7 ingizwa emateksini all over nje yabona nje kukhulunywa futhi yabona content yakho, but abantu baphombisa ngayibona lento isi-trend, and I think it is what even emenze that particular doctor waze wagcina esemuvele kukhozi.
Sure.
We understand. So because wayikwazi uku-attract ama-numbers, and of course in media numbers do sell. And again, when you listen to your 9 to 12 on Metro FM, Ask a Man, there's that particular feature. It's been there for years, but it shows it's attracting a balandil by. So that is why they are keeping that feature there. So because it's attracting numbers, but it is important strategically the people who manage a content station they show these features are well placed within the radio station.
I think in general we can all say Uguti relationship content is a bit tiring. Sex content, however, I think also with the feature like Tembo on Indaba as well. I think it was called Sex Indaba. Yes. It was very educational. Which then I think goes to your point, Uguti. It's honestly a matter of how you position it and how you structure it. It's not just like, we're just going to, just talk about sex in any, like,
Yes.
Just to wrap it up, I want to point this out because I just remember it now because I've always made a reference to this point, Uguti. When we did the drive with this piano names, we were just throwing around a bunch of features, and then we created a feature called "What Would You Do For." Basically, we would get like tickets or just like anything cool, merchandise or whatever that we give to people, and then would ask them to call in and just tell us, what are you willing to do in order for you to win 2 tickets to Chris Brown, sort of thing. And I can guarantee you right now, if you hear any podcast or any standout clip from that show, it's us talking to someone who's confessing cheating, who's confessing something relationship. And it's like, as much as we, even internally as a show ourselves, try to control that thing to say, okay, can we not do too much relationship stuff? But people really call in with really juicy things like, okay, this is gonna rock. If this person actually does this, because there's so many moving parts in it, you want to call somebody else, we'll be able to get a hold of that person, whatever. And people will literally call and be like, do you guys stage the things? Like, no. This person literally just called us out of nowhere, and this is what they decided to do. So then it also came to us to say, okay, we need to filter it out a bit. We can't constantly have umuntu ofuna ukutshela stepmother wakhe or umamncane wakhe ukuthi they slept with their uncle or their husband or, sort of thing. It just, so to some extent, the listener wants to hear it, and there's also somebody out there that's willing to share that part of their life, I think, with just everyone. It's just crazy. Now, radio caters for everyone. You will literally feel the difference between a breakfast show, a drive time show, a midday show, a mid-morning show, and even a talk show. And apart from radio awards or apart from huge listenerships or shows that generate a whole lot of money for radio stations because they're just that popular and they kind of make sense, everybody's also very entitled to their favorite breakfast shows, to their favorite, 9 to 12 shows. And of course, we also had to weigh in on that. Moving right along, I want us to break down shows a little bit here. So we're going to categorize shows we're going to do chart show, a bit of current affairs, and just like, let's just do 6 to 6 primetime shows. And then we're just going to break them down. How do you feel about particular shows? I want us to start with chart shows. Is anybody into like music driven stuff, or do we want content and motivational and gospel?
I listen to chart shows for music purposes.
Of course.
They're a good way to relax. There's a lot of music, and you get to be up to date with the hottest songs in that particular season. So I do listen to chart shows. I listen a lot to the one that is on Metro FM. Yeah.
K-Easy.
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 Yeah. I used to listen to it when it was DJ Sabi.
Sure.
Yeah, I used to love it. And K-Easy, that's the show that I listen to. I also do listen to Eokozi. I think is Wonjinji still. Yeah, so those are the 2 church shows that I listen to. I haven't really given much time to Kakasi. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, for me, I think though I don't listen much to chat shows, but from time to time I will listen to they do play quite a lot of music in their show, and I think they gel well together. I mean, still young, energetic, and I love their bond on that show.
They are a very interesting duo. All right, I want us to move along to current affairs shows. Who are we on? Ntobeko is my guy. Yes, this is your time to shine. We have a bunch of current affairs shows. We have Faith on Metro. We have Alex and Tiani. There's so many.
Yes.
So many.
Yeah.
Oh, who's your money on?
So this is not a current affairs show, but it's a talk show, if that's okay.
Yeah, I think we should call them talk shows.
That I think in 2024 reached its peak, because the presenter he blossomed this year. It has to be Clement Manyathela. I feel like this season he has reached his peak. He's done well. I think what also just make him blossom so much is the GNU and the elections and the interviews that he's been having. And his understanding is he applies himself, he reads a lot, he's knowledgeable, he doesn't have conversations at face value. So I really enjoy him. But also other show that I didn't really enjoy much when it comes to current affairs, that did not live up to its expectations. It has to be Ashraf Gada, the legend. Him coming back on radio, I had high expectations, but I just don't feel like he has filled the void that was left by Eldrin Sampier. In the morning, SAFM, I feel like the guy, Tulasizo Smelane, thumbs up, he's doing quite well. I'm quite happy with what he's doing there. Fairly new, but I'm happy with what he's doing there.
I'm sure. Thank you so much to the team from Radio Podcast and stuff, Ntobeko and Ntokozo, as well as Smangaliso Ntshangase, journalist for Isolezwe. And man, you know what? There's honestly no right or no wrong answer, to be quite honest with you, when it comes to radio. It all just appeals to you in, in your own way. And we all have a special reason why we listen to radio. And radio has honestly been one of those mediums that have just stood the test of time. There have been so many instances where radio has been said to, podcast is going to kill radio. It's going to do this, it's going to do that. But then again, radio is probably one of the few mediums that are left that have a human and personal interaction and engagement with another person, which I think kind of makes it that special and has given it the staying power that it has all along. You don't need to talk about how important radio is because I love radio. You know this. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. Radio Me TV will be back soon. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel Finally Famous TV for frequent updates, and you'll be notified exactly when we are coming back full force with a fresh season of Radio Meets TV. Follow us across all social media platforms as well. Finally Famous SA. I'm at Clarissa Mfeka across all social media platforms, and I will see you next time. Don't forget that if you want us to interview any particular radio personality, please let us know. DM, tag them, and man, we'll make it happen. Enjoy the rest of, January, I think. And I will see you soon.